Hey guys, so we're going to learn about an artist named Paul Klee, who is known as, some people call him the father of abstract art. He had influence over people who did surrealism and also an art movement called expressionism. But abstract art, the main thing to know about it is that it doesn't attempt to represent an external reality, but seeks to achieve its effect using shapes, forms, colors, and textures. And when you're talking about Paul Klee, you are talking about color. So when you look at a lot of his paintings, for example, even though it's all just squares and rectangles, you can a lot of times tell what time of day it is, or maybe even where the painting was, in terms of, is it in a southern place where it's nice and warm, or is it in a cooler northern area? You're also going to learn about Thanksgiving and why we eat turkey. What I want you to do is go and do some research and find a few of your favorite works of art by Paul Klee. And on the next couple slides, you're going to insert that art into these spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and do one to show you what you're going to do. So you're going to say insert image and then search the web, and you can do it right in here inside slides, which is cool. Oops, Paul Klee. And you spell his name K-L-E-E. And then a bunch of his art comes up over here. And I don't want you to just grab anything and pull it over. I really want you to look at it and see some of your favorite art first, and then pull that over, okay? And look at the way he uses color. Pay attention to the way he uses color, all right? So you're going to do that on all 4 of those slides. And then you're going to create your own Paul Klee turkey, okay? So Paul Klee, like I said before, is an abstract artist, right? So he doesn't do things the way they look, but instead he tries to create things that express something about what he's creating. So when you look at this, this may not look like a traditional drawing of a turkey, but you can totally tell that this is where the feathers are going to go. This is its head and its body. And then these eyes over here are eyes similar to some that Paul Klee has used in his paintings, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to just click on one that you like and drag it over. And I'm going to hold down my Option key so that I'm just copying it so it stays over here, but you can just drag it over. You can change the size by pulling on the corner. You can rotate it by dragging this ball at the top. And you can move them by clicking on both, holding on your Shift key, clicking on both. You can use the arrow keys to move them up or down. You can play around with using different eyes. Let's try this one over here. Okay, so play around, find one that you like, and you can also do more than one if you want. Okay, so I'm going to keep the ones that I had originally. I like how he's kind of looking out the side of his face. So the most important thing when you're going through this is that you're going to click on what you've added, the elements you've added, and hold down your Command or your Control key and then C. So Command or Control C, click on the next slide and hit Command or Control V. And that's right up here where it's Edit. You can see where it says Copy. It's going to say Command C, and Paste is Command or Control V. Okay, that just depends on whether or not you're on a Mac or if you're on a PC. Okay, so now I'm going to pull over a beak that I like. Now, here's the thing. Once again, you can change the ones that you like. You don't have to stick with the first one that you choose. And let's see. And try to remember, too, that obviously it's not going to look exactly like a turkey because, again, Paul Klee was an abstract artist, right? Okay, I don't like that one. I'm going to pull another one over. And you can rotate it. This one's kind of cool. Hold down the Shift key and pull from the corner to make it larger or smaller. I kind of like that one. Then I'm going to click on that, click on both of my eyes, Command or Control C, click on my next slide, Command or Control V, and it's going to paste it in exactly the same spot. Now you get to do feathers. Okay, so these are all examples, believe it or not, of feathers that Paul Klee actually has in a lot of his paintings. So I'm just going to pull this one over, and I'm going to make it larger. I'm going to rotate it a little bit, and then I'm just going to duplicate that one. Rotate it, and when you duplicate, what you do is you hold down your Option or your Alt key, and that just depends on if you're on a Mac or a PC, and you just drag it, click and drag, okay? Now, the other thing is you can put this in front of or behind. So the way you do that is you're going to go up here to where it says Arrange, and then you can say Order. Send backward or send to back. I'm just going to say send backward. And I'm going to do it again. We'll see how much I have to do this. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to grab all my elements, and I'm going to bring the ones that I want in front, to the front. So you can see how that went back where I wanted it to go. Okay. And then I'm just going to do this for all of these different geometric shapes. Okay, so on this slide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my select tool, the black arrow, and I'm going to encompass everything that I've done, including the background images. And I'm going to hit Command C, Command V. On your computer, it might say Control. And then you're going to have it, paste it in the exact same spot. And finally, don't forget to add your waddle. So I'm just going to drag over some cool looking decorative elements that I like. Paul Klee, a lot of times in his paintings, did all these little sketches and stuff like that in the backgrounds of his paintings. And so that's what we're going to do on our turkeys. And then the last but not least thing that you're going to do is you're going to add color. Okay, so I'm going to, once again, I'm going to start on the outside and just kind of encompass, draw a box around everything, and then hit Command V. Now I get to add color. All right, now remember, Paul Klee was all about color. And if you want to do a little bit of experimentation and look up some of the different colors that he used, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and add some colors that I like. And a lot of times you're going to find his colors in this custom area. So I'm going to choose that one, but then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on custom. So it's going to be in that same color range. And I'm just going to drag my hue. So there's transparency and hue right here. This is going to make it more blue. This is going to make it more green. You can see I go orange, red, violet. So I'm going to go ahead and go with like a more orangey hue, I think. But I'm going to keep it in the same value range. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And then towards the bottom, I'm going to go lighter. So he loved to play with color intensity. I go ahead and start changing the intensity of my color. So the intensity of color means that you're changing the vibrancy of it. So it's not as bright, it's looking more subdued, okay? And when you do that, these over on this side are going to be more subdued than the ones over on the right, okay? And you can see the color up here. The reason I'm spending so much time on color on this one is, again, because that is like the #1 thing that Paul Klee liked to play with is color. And geez, guys, obviously I am not as good at color as Paul Klee because, you know, that's mainly the reason he's a famous artist. So you guys might be better, but anyway, I'm going to do my best. So adding colors. Your teacher may ask you to use some of the same elements to create your own Paul Klee turkey using traditional art materials. And if you do this, just know that you don't have to use that same structure. Do whatever you'd like to make your turkey any way you want. Just try to keep it in that same abstracted style that Paul Klee used. I hope you guys have fun with this.